The Americans are to blame for this, and now the cracks in our relationship have reached the foundation levels. Yes, you heard that correctly. It is all your fault, United States. You are destroying everything. Our relationships are broken. In fact, we can take this back to the Alaska summit. Here's Putin saying, yes, this is the day all fell apart. Russia doubling down today, going hard at DC, sending its strongest message yet, and not only to DC, but also to the European nations as they say they are going to prop up Ukraine until the very last Ukrainian. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, and commenting. Let's jump straight into it. And by the way, at the end, I have a bonus video, once again in the same theme, coming out of the Russian Orthodox Church about it's all your fault. You do not want to miss that. We appreciate each and every one of you. So, who's making all the bold statements today? That is Sergei Ryabkov. Who is Ryabkov? He is the deputy foreign minister of Russia. He's a powerful guy. He is second to Sergei Lavrov. I have the videos all for you. We're going to share them. But what does he say? And this is what you need to be listening for. He says the peace process regarding Ukraine has lost momentum. It has actually reached the point of exhaustion. He also says the fault is in the war supporters, especially among Europeans for everything. And additionally, the United States must understand the severity of the consequences of transferring long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. He additionally says that Russia will now impose travel restrictions on diplomats from unfriendly countries that decide to restrict the movement of Russian diplomats in the Schengen area, in the European Union, guys. And he says, you know, there's no talk of extending the strategic arms treaty, the START. Putin sent a direct message to Donald Trump. Putin sent a direct message to Washington, D.C., and we have had no reply. Therefore, it's not our fault. It's all America and Europe's fault. Here you go. This is clip one of Ryabkov. You see, we have relationship and a structure that is cracking right now. It's actually falling apart. The Americans are to blame for this, and now the cracks in our relationship have reached the foundation levels, and I think that it's easier to destroy these relationships. We want to build, but we do not see reciprocal movement from their side. Ladies and gentlemen, the translation is solid. He's saying it's all America's fault. We're trying to reach out. We're trying to do things. Yeah. Leveling Ukraine is what you're trying to do. Because, but we're not hearing anything from the Americans. Our foundations are cracking. Now, I will say this. There is very little, let me be extremely fair here. There's very little from the American side. You know, weeks ago, we get the tweet that Ukraine can win the war. We're going to supply weapons. They can even take into Russian territory. They can get all of their borders back. And then a couple of weeks, nothing. And then we hear, hey, I think the Tomahawks, I'm going to send them. I just need to know where they're going to use them. But other than that, there's nothing. There's no talk about Ukraine. The news coverage on mainstream media is very limited, especially here in the United States. I do not know about whatever nation you're from. How is it there? Maybe drop that in the comments. Is there mainstream media coverage in your country? And in addition to that, the United States in DC completely distracted right now away from Ukraine, focused on Israel, Gaza, deploying National Guard to cities, government shutdown, swearing in of an elected official out of Arizona, and the list goes on and on and on. I don't even mention the Epstein files. I mean, you name it, the distraction is there, and it takes the attention away from Ukraine, which honestly should be everyday top lead story, because nobody is, other than us guys here, pushing and paying attention to what is really happening. Ukraine reporting today that Russia is going hard after their rail systems, and specifically locomotives and diesel engines that move these trains. Warnings today coming out that 5 regions are already experiencing rolling blackouts. This is getting critical, and we're just beginning a cooler season, not the cold season yet. So Russia pushing the message hard, and we see that. Now, I want to get to Ryabkov's second statement. Buckle your seatbelt. Here we go. He said that it's a very serious escalation step, and indeed the appearance of such systems, if it comes to that, will mean a significant escalation and perhaps even a qualitative change in the situation in the war, but this won't affect our determination to achieve our goals. Unfortunately, we must also pay attention to the powerful anchorage negotiations. They have largely been exhausted, and the efforts of the opponents of war and supporters to the very last Ukrainian, especially among the Europeans, well, this is the result of destructive activities, and primarily this is happening by Europeans, and we will speak openly about that. Now, as for the Tomahawks again, specifically, as you all understand, without software and launch systems, these missiles themselves are just dummies, and accordingly, it was also stated that at a high level from the Russian side, our side, that hypothetically, if these systems are used, it's only possible with direct involvement of the American personnel. So I hope that those pushing Washington, D.C. towards such decisions that we are seeing must fully realize the depth and the gravity of the consequences that these decisions have. And we, of course, urge the American leadership and their militaristic approach to this whole situation to be sober, to be sensible, to be responsible. But again, there's no nervousness on our side. We have resources that allow us to move forward in this direction that we have determined by our Supreme Commander-in-Chief. And he was referring there to what Putin was saying at the beginning of the video about the Tomahawk systems. But you can see everything I was sharing with you, he just states Europeans propping up U.S. warmongering, militaristic talk. They need to be sober. They want to go to the last Ukrainian. And we understand, he says, that if you're going to talk about Tomahawks, then there has to be. That's interesting. Wasn't that interesting? Here it is for you.
Слава Україні!
For some reason, my software triggered that in the background. I think we needed that at that moment. But you can see the blame game pushing toward the United States. And about the Tomahawks, he says, listen, we're prepared for it, but we do understand that it takes 2 to tango, and Ukrainians can't do this on their own. So this is the narrative that Russia will follow. Now, I told you that I would have a bonus video for you, and it's on the same theme. It's coming out of the Russian Orthodox Church, a message delivered this week, and it is not from Kirill. It's just out of a church in Moscow. But ladies and gentlemen, it's the same theme. It's always somebody else's fault. It is never Russia's fault. And this is what we hear this priest or whatever saying. Buckle your seatbelts. Men suffer because of women. You know, how many crimes are committed by men because the women want and desire so much? She wants to live like a queen while her husband has limits. And I've seen so many stories like this exist through the land. So, you have one job, then another job, a third job, and he will simply break down. He will wear himself out, burn out, and then it's just over. But it's never enough for her. She wants this, she wants that, she wants endless expensive vacations. Do you understand me? This is our life. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is real video. It is not AI. You see, regardless whether it's war in Ukraine, international relations, men committing crimes because their women want to be queens, in this Soviet mindset and system, it's always somebody else's fault. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll be back soon.